Dude tried to harass my girlfriend at a bar, brought his gang to intimidate me, then met the wrong bouncer. I was at a bar with my girlfriend when some guy started hitting on her. She told him she wasn't interested, but he wouldn't stop. I stepped in and told him to back off. He laughed and said, "What are you gonna do about it?" I told him to leave us alone, and he just smirked and walked away. I thought that was the end of it. But a few minutes later, he came back with a group of his friends. They surrounded us, and he said, "You think you can just talk to me like that and get away with it?" I was scared, but I stood my ground. I told him to leave us alone, and he just laughed. Then, out of nowhere, a huge guy came up and said, "Hey, is this guy bothering you?" I didn't know who he was, but I nodded. The huge guy turned to the guy who was harassing us and said, "You need to leave, now." The guy laughed and said, "What are you gonna do about it?" The huge guy just stared at him, and after a few seconds, the guy backed down and left with his friends. I thanked the huge guy, and he just nodded and walked away. I later found out that the huge guy was a bouncer at the bar, and he had seen what was happening. He stepped in to help us, even though he didn't have to. I'll never forget what he did for us that night.